you got to do is walk around with a cocky look on your face and not give a fuck about some of these people. And that's why I have my rule, live and let live, but don't force it down my throat. And my saying for that is when a rat's ass should be offered or given. You can't really give a rat's ass because the ass of the rat is not really, the ass of this rodent isn't really yours to give. It belongs to that rodent, you know what I mean? So let that rat keep his ass, But yet, they can't dictate to you when a rat's ass should even be offered or given. And so if the rat's ass being offered up means you're willing to play ball with him a little bit and tolerate something, and try to reason things out, and tolerate them and play the game, that's called offering up the rat's ass. And you're doing them a favor by offering up the rat's ass. You don't have to give a rat's ass, Yeah, so it's all about presentation. When the rat's ass should be offered or given, So this is kind of like random. The only reason I'm making this is basically hidden messages from, well, not so hidden, special messages for people you already know me. It doesn't matter if it gets views or not, but it gets the views, believe me, one place or another, even though it gets only 2 views. So take that into consideration, I also will close this right now by saying that if you've gotten this far in this video, I have a saying about giving a rat's ass that's kind of funny. That how can you give a rat's ass? The ass of the rat isn't yours to give, so let the rat keep his ass. Or you can pick up a rat in tandem to somebody else's ass first, and yes, you're giving a rat's ass. And if the other person wants to accept the rat ass first, to give a rat's ass, you're sort of offering up the rat's ass, and it's up to the other person if he wants to accept. So I'll have another saying too, that in some certain things, that if a rat's ass should really be offered or even given about a particular subject. So that's what I say about tolerance to a certain thing. You can say sometimes you give a shit. There's some and I also have a thing where I say there's certain aspects of giving a shit or giving a fuck. It's not that I don't give a shit or give a fuck. There's some aspects of giving a shit or giving a fuck that I don't give a shit or a fuck about. And at any given time, when and where should a rat's ass be given, or a fuck be given, or a shit be given, or even offered? You know what I mean? So yeah, we have that motto there about when you tolerate something or other person tolerates you. That's where I say, let the rat keep his ass. You know what I mean? The rat's ass isn't yours to give, or is not mine to give. Let the rat keep his ass. It belongs to the rat. Let the rat keep his ass. So that kind of tells you something about tolerance. Live and let live, even if you do it in a smirky, smart-ass kind of a way. Alright, what's up, guys? Time for another video. And I know all of a sudden, some people ain't talking about this as much anymore unless she comes up as subject matter. But this is something I wanted to make a video about for a while too. That I've made videos of taking shots about environmental issues. But my take on this British woman and all that, I wanted to emphasize more on some things. I think not attacking her or personally, or I don't want to say anything to that I'm trying to verbally or intimidate or harm them in any kind of way. It's just critiquing and criticism in a way. It's not like a hate video. I mean, nothing personal, but part of me actually, nothing personal, but I actually think she's literally a puppet just to get an audience like some of these other people. We got real issues that I can say on a lot of other different issues, that somebody exploits it, and this person, they may even be a paid puppet, or all of a sudden, come on, they get on public attention internationally just like that. How come you and me can't get that? Because you know why? Because You know, in so many ways, somebody is backing them and putting them there. If you're any of my friends, both either, or any of my neighbors that are both black or white or any race, or British or whatever, somebody could be British watching, on any issue, or any of these people that are accomplished YouTubers out there, get a seat out there and make national news, public. You don't just get that for nothing. Somebody puts you there. In some cases, you're a puppet, and they fucking tell you what to say. And it's like, I have my own issues about the corporate capitalist thing that what it does to people. Like I said too, there are certain people you want to see jobs created. And like I said before, I'm not against environmental issues. I did a boat tour in Lake Erie, and a guy in a boat tour says at one time you were just allowed to dump anything you want into the water. And then there was a thing I saw on the History Channel too, in parentheses, before gasoline was running an automobile, gasoline used to be garbage, and they used to dump it right in the rivers. But anyway, back to the Lake Erie thing, that the guy on the tour boat actually said that factories, they used to be just able to dump things just anywhere they felt like it. The water was literally black. So yes, there's lines that, you know, people realize they couldn't just dump shit anywhere, and we can't even dump our doo-doo just anywhere anymore. They gotta extract it from the water and send it to the landfill and not just dump it in the river, you know. And I actually said that, you know, if you take a shit in the middle of a parking lot, 100 people from your town take a shit in the middle of a parking lot, it's going to be one good big pile of shit, you know. And where the hell is all that shit going? That's a lot of shit. But anyway, you notice that when people are put up there as an audience, you know, and it just all of a sudden magically becomes national, international attention. You're not bashing them personally. You are partial. You don't want to stick up for the very greedy corporate capitalist. You don't want to be a socialist that hates capitalism, but yet they want to put their daddy in and tell you how it is. But then there's a part of capitalism that these dumbass communist kids, it's like, and they got Antifa harassing people on the street that they want communism, that these dumbasses, dumb shits don't realize is it's, yeah, you want the corporate greed, capitalism. Yes, you could be against that, but there's a part of a capitalism that socialism and communism isn't the answer, because there's an aspect of capitalism that's supposed to be for people that of all races that came as immigrants, like not just different colors. There was people that were poor that were Italians, Greeks, and all kind of people. And just like part of my family, I'd like to get one of them DNA things out of there. I don't know if they really work, but that's another video talk. You're tempted to your DNA. You're taught that you're part Irish and part Polish, and I was taught that I was actually part Irish and part Croatian and part Lithuanian, and how my ancestors were poor immigrants, that everybody was immigrants, you know what I mean? And the part of capitalism that everybody that was as poor immigrants came to America and had the right to that aspect of capitalism where everybody can freely start a business. And then there's that other aspect of capitalism that's evil, that the dumb communist kids don't realize, that they want to do away with the corporate greed. There is that corporate greed element that you can argue that is actually preventing the little guy that I talked about, the heritage of this country, preventing them from being an entrepreneur and having their own business, because you can have an enemy. You can argue there's an enemy there that wants to prevent that, and then they're have a big agenda of forcing the little guy out of business, so they can. That can be you can rightly be angry with that, but hanging with Antifa isn't the fucking answer. You know, I know this is about and it seems a little off the subject, but people with some of these views and these environmentalist views have a tendency to be communist. And they like Antifa, and they dumbasses, and they think that these people are noble or not. You know, you got to differentiate that. But another thing that if you got this far in this video off the subject too, you notice though too, you don't, since they're a puppet, you know they're a puppet, right? And they're worried about the environment, and they're how, you know, doing this dramatic, how dare you rob me of my future. You know, and you got a cheering bunch of sheep audience cheering for it, no different than the highly paid preacher with a fancy airplane. That can be no different than a game show or a fucking any kind of show where you're signaled to applause. What the fuck, you know? People need to open up their fucking eyes. Anyway, you don't see people like this British woman in the audience saying, since she's so concerned about the environment and all, what about all these YouTube videos you're seeing, these documentaries you're seeing about, and if you say it wrong, they'll cut you off at the pass and say, oh, you don't like the homeless and you don't want to see the drug addicts reform. Oh, there's this aspect of people like us on the audience. They don't want you talking about, or they want to scrub off the internet these documentaries where all these needles all over the beaches, which is, yes, it's very environmental. You got people were illegally dumping or carelessly dumping medical waste, which that classifies, that's a biohazard. You know what I mean? So at the same time, you don't want to act like you hate the homeless, but there's a big problem. I saw this documentary, like people living in sewers in Romania, and then in our country, you got documentaries in like the West Coast area there. People can't even go in the damn beaches. You don't want to say you hate the homeless, but who the fuck is selling all these homeless people these drugs, and then they're all just, the needles just laying. Do you want to actually be on a beach anywhere and there's just needles that you don't see laying? That's an environmental hazard and a biohazard, but there's some kind of taboo. You're not allowed to talk about that because it cut you right off the pass, like you're insensitive or some kind of thing. But that's fucking pollution too. And like you wonder how some of us, you know, if somebody wants to get high on their own time, it's that floats their boat, even if it's illegal. That's one thing. But now you got to say, who the fuck is like some. That's why I couldn't be no kind of dealer in any of that shit. Like in a certain lower level of a dealer, you got to be some serious asshole to, knowing these people are homeless, but you just take whatever money they got, you know, no matter how they're getting it, whether they're sneaking in houses and stealing or doing panhandling so they can give you the money because they want to buy some drug. You know, them higher level dealers, you know, they're farther away from that shit. They sell it in bulk and they don't give a fuck. Or they're not nowhere near these other lower level dealers. But, you know, I mean, who the fuck is selling these homeless people these drugs like this and knowing full well they're out there homeless, nowhere to go, and you got the needles and shit all over fucking beaches and shit? But you don't see these environmental people that are like that British woman on the big audience applauding her talking about that as an issue. No, you don't. Do you see her talking about that? No, they're fucking up there and they're up there fucking, they're a puppet. They're told what to say. If you were I'd be curious about asking this British woman. I could be wrong, you know, and hey, say if I get unlucky enough to get the video or whatever, and all of a sudden, you know, like trash. No different than like that Paul Joseph Watson guy who's doing a better job than Alex Jones, I think. Right, to see some of them, whether you like him or not, you know, he tells a lot of truths where they want to have these people demonetized, thinking it'll drive them away. Then they want to get them scrubbed off the internet, even though you don't agree with every single thing the guy's saying. But I'm actually like to see some of these people prove me wrong. You got somebody that makes international attention. They're fucking put there. And you don't see them talking about all the fucking needles on the beach and different things like that. They're put there to attack particular people. Like I explained earlier, that certain people that are preconceived is like greedy or whatever, like I partially agree. But if you partially agree with some of these people and it ain't their way, then I guess I'm some kind of gun-toting, Bible-thumping conservative. And I got called that on social media just for saying that somebody has the right to have an AR-15 if they're in them shooting competitions or shotguns or whatever, and lock them up responsibly. And yeah, you got to root out these assholes. But yeah, you're required to hate the NRA every time some random psycho goes and does a mass shooting. And then like, get the fuck out of here with that. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Jesus Christ. People like, no comment. There's some things that you're told what to say, you know what I mean, too. I can go on and on about that. I gotta laugh about that. I don't want to go on and on about that issue, but for example, if I have an issue on something, you don't see what I look like, or if you see me doing a blog, I agree with a thing under some circumstance, you'll presume I'm a conservative because I, partially think you can have the right to protect yourself, but not be one of them random psychos, But yet, and then they just throw these names around. But now you see me on here whether you like me or not. Hey, if I think that somebody has some right to responsibly protect themselves, you know what I mean? If you don't see me on a blog, you see me right here. Do I look like a fucking Bible thumping conservative? You do? Do I look like a fucking liberal? That's where I kind of piss a little bit of everybody off. Oh geez, there is people out there too that I'm nice enough to believe in common sense, being able to protect yourself, and I don't have no claims that any of that diehard right to bear. I'm not saying that every single one of them like me either, that I'm probably an embarrassment to some of them. I believe in some of the basic rights, but yet, I don't know, I'm not Bible thumper enough. Or what do I look like, to them or these other crowds, Do I look like a fucking liberal to you, a communist liberal to you? Or do I look like even a Bible thumping conservative to you? Well, I got beliefs. I believe in the right to read certain things, and the right to, if somebody wants to be an atheist, because I have this philosophy of stripping everything down to nothing and seeing what you got. And I criticize these fucking diehard evolutionists. We came from monkeys crowd where I do and say things deliberately on the thing too. They want to see me scrubbed off for the internet because, oh, okay, your atheism and your evolutionism, the only thing you care about is sitting on your ass by a computer with your t-shirt and shorts and your 40-ounce beer and your bag of weed next to you. And, oh, these Christians are so bad. We need to scrub Christianity off the internet, off the world. And if I don't agree with that and I have any of my own ideas about evolution in a form of a lot of what I call primal movement exercise, which I am heavily subscribed to on in YouTube, which some of them YouTubers don't care about my aspect of it. They don't have to care, but I like them. But if I present my thing to flip off the evolutionist, and I was actually called certain kind of names because they didn't have any weapon against. I'll piss a little bit of everybody off because you got to fucking question everything, strip everything down, like stripping car engine down or stripping a computer down, Like, and I used to work on computers, so it's like stripping a fucking computer down. And knowing what a problem is, you can modify things. And some people don't want you modifying anything. They want you dependent on somebody else to fix your computer. Maybe you want to fix your computer yourself. And that's why I bring and if you're a car person, maybe there's things to that too, dishonest people. And I say computer or a car because you can modify your own components. And people want to turn you into a puppet, and like they want to install your hardware or software into you. And if you want to modify the hardware or software, they want to punish you, or metaphorically speaking, whether you want to say in it, like want to compare it to without permission modifying certain things, even though you bought it and own it, they can throw you in jail. So the thing I make my thing is, if you want to tear down a thing and partially believe something and modify any kind of philosophy, like I am preaching right now, somebody would want to, whether it's their communist side or whether they're a heavily conservative side or whatever side, they'd like to shut me up and throw me in a cage just for that. That's what it's all about. They want to install something else in you, or make you consent to installing something in you in a form of a philosophy or things. But say you take it and then modify it, or you take something and install your own thing that you want to be modified with an aspect of it. But they want you to have everything installed in you their way, and if you modify it, there's a clause there, it ain't right, it's not cool, whether they want to socially shame you for it, or have you have somebody's their version of the police commit a thuggery or have you or actual police with a badge throw you in a fucking cage, don't like the police, but yet they want their communist order or whatever, and just put new police in, and they don't like the police, but then they want to put their police and have you thrown in a cage for not agreeing with them. You know what I mean? There's a few people putting that quote from Winston Churchill on Facebook I see every once in a while. It was a quote like, free speech, the people that don't want free speech, they should have it, and everybody else should shut up. You know, what the,